Alright guys, Supreme Kami here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the almost rate last unit, the Hi Nu Gundam. As far as this Hi Nu Gundam goes, this one's going to be a sharpshooter, so these are going to be the following stats. So as the base parameter at base level 1, this is looking really good, with those damage cut, that is like anything above 10. And you can definitely push it more, but this one is honestly looking fairly juicy already. So let's take a look at some of the main weapons first, or range weapon, how we would call it. So in terms of main melee, we have the beam saber, so that's pretty standard-ish right there. Main ranged, we have the beam rifle, gonna be a 10 magazine right there, and then 13 seconds as for the reload right there. So it's kind of alright. As for the set one, we have the new hybrid bazooka. That's gonna be a 34 seconds reload and then 3 magazine. So this one being a Visco is obviously gonna be pretty good, because I'm pretty sure as you guys do play through the game, you run into a lot of bosses that have those meter bars that unless you take it down or unless you're using a physical weaponry, good luck, because all your weapon is pretty much going to be invalidated. And this is where I wouldn't call this new hyper bazooka like really good, but I mean like at least you do have that options of using it for the time being, unless you do have those equipment rank part where you can translate everything into physical, then you're solid. As for your sub 2 weapon, we have the fin funnel. That's going to be a 14 seconds reload and then 1 ammo right there. As for your SPA, we have the Hyper Mega Bazooka Launcher. That's going to be blasting a foe with the Hyper Mega Bazooka Launcher, and that's pretty much it. This one does have some, like when you're firing it, this one actually gives you tracking, from time to time when I use it. So that was like wow, it's good. I mean, like from time to time I do miss, but in the other half of it, the other side of the coin, you do get a pretty good mobility while you're firing it. Let's say your enemy move for say, it still goes to it. So I'm just like, wow, that's good. That's gonna be pretty much it in terms of the base status of this overall unit. So let's take a look at it at level 80. Bam, and level 80 are going to be the following side. You guys can see that in terms of the shot attack or the range attack, it says 719, so that's looking fairly good. 1550 for the HP, so those are two noticeable things to kind of consider about. As for the boosting and then melee, they're like, where they should be for a sharpshooter. So up next, let's talk about where to get the blueprints. So once you get the blueprint, you will actually go over to the directory 5, and then you go all the way to the D1 over here. So this one is going to be the D5 KS hard mode, and this is where you can obtain pretty essentially every blueprint. So you have your 1, 2, and 3, and these are going to be some of the bosses that you do have to fight. You got the Gob, you got the Zagu Shars, and then you have the Galagu Shars. So this one honestly is not something I beat on my own initially. I had a friend, Smiley, so shout out to her. She was like, she carried me through, essentially. So back then I was able to obtain all the blueprint, and this is how you get it. So up next, let's talk about some equipment that I think is going to be good for this overall unit. Alright, so as for the equipment, I pretty much went for everything that is a range possible except for this one right over here. Essentially why I want to use this one, because I do want both my main and then sub weapons used a little bit to go up. So you guys can see that in terms of the beam rifle, we went up from 10 to 12. As for the hybrid bazooka and then for the sub 1 and 2, they're just not enough percentage over here. I believe I have it like for this one 22% and then another 27%. That was not enough to push it towards that, having it twice in a row. So that was definitely very unfortunate. As for some of the other ones, I tried to go for sub weapons, trying to have that reload. It didn't really help that much. 3% to this one was only down to 1 seconds, while this one only down by 0.4 seconds. I mean, like a little bit does help, but I mean like it's not. I mean like in terms of the equipment that I have, they're just not sufficient for the time being. As for the overall stat, this is what we are rocking now. So now we're up to a total of 14,000 for my shot attack, so that is definitely quite juicy and all that good stuff. But yeah, we pretty much double my the regular, let's say, range attack towards that, so that's not bad overall. They're also up a little bit of the HP, so I mean long range wise, I do have an opportunity to take some damage, obviously. given the enemy situation. But other than that, that should be pretty much it as for the equipment. So up next, let's talk about some combo with this unit. Here we have the Hi Nu Gundam. So this is how it looks like in the actual battle. So let's actually start out with some basic melee. So as for the melee, so this has four slashes only, and that is it. So after that, it's either you want to continue with your combo or you want to start using your sub 1 and 2. That's definitely up to you. As for the heavy itself, this is how it looks like. So I like the fact that they actually does give it a little bit of that machine gun as in the as well. You guys can see that. After that, you have a little bit of that. But the only thing that I did not like about this kit in terms of the heavy is the fact that after this, right? So after you go for like your machine gun and then go for like a punch, right? This one, if you're in a air combo, that will literally drop it. So you'll be from here, you have to instantly drop down to continue, which is not gonna be good if you're talking about specifically in battle where your opponents break. And then if they fail down, I'm pretty sure by that time their meteor does come back up, which is not gonna be good, obviously. So that's that. As for the actual heavy, it's just gonna be like that. So pretty simple. As for the heavy and then slam, that's gonna be it. So through his combo just like anybody else. So let's start things out with the rifle now. So that's that. So you do have 12 hits, so we went up to it obviously because of that equipment I have on. So that's gonna be a lot set. So not bad. We did 5,000. I'm like, keep that in mind. I do have equipment, and then it is a level 80. As for the skirt, it is gonna be 3 rounds and pretty good. I mean, like this one does. If you use those, let's say, I believe it's skills. Those like not the actual part skills, but like the other skills, you can actually give it like an increase in terms of, let's say, the projectile. Like you can get more enemies. Not really get more enemy, but it scatters more, I believe. As with Fifth Funnel, we do have up to a 14 hits in total, so that's definitely not bad. So I feel like the Fifth Funnel is definitely something that I really wanted to up in terms of, let's say, its usability. Just because of the fact that in terms of comboing wise, the Fifth Funnel does come in very handy, which I'm going to show you guys right here. Before that, let's actually take a look at the special attack first. This thing looks really sick. And how many hits are we getting? Only 8. Wow, that's pretty much it, huh? Alright, as for your combo, it's going to be pretty basic, I would definitely say. And then after that, you swing up, and then you can just slam down like that, however you want. And then let's see. Okay. So after that 4th hit, gotta do this. And then a slam again. Didn't mean to do that. Gosh. Alright. See? Alright, so that's that. But let me show you guys what I mean when I say why the heavy is not really that good. So when I try to train it, it fell down immediately. So what you would have to do, let's say you do this, and then you do this, you will have to instantly drop down like that to continue. But obviously, like I said again, you don't want to do that because the meter bar on your enemy should have recovered by the time they fell to the floor or the ground, so that's obviously not going to be that good. So as for some of your other combo, what I will do, you can do the bazooka, but likewise for the bazooka, literally falls down. So yeah, for combo longevity wise, no, that's not going to be how you want to do it. So in terms of how I would be doing it, it's going to be this. Fire defense on the first, and then you can change this one. Then you can continue. So this is probably the method I will go for. I think that's a little bit effective, I would definitely have to say. So let's see. Once again, so do this. Yeah, that's what I would do, right? And then resets. After 4 hit resets, and then a little bit break or the chain breaker. So continue the combo right there. Yeah, it drops, so yeah, it's just not gonna happen. So alright, so as for my final verdict for the Hi Nu Gundam, so if used correctly, I'll definitely have to say this unit as a whole is just so deadly, right? just because of the fact that those fin funnel hits for an insane amount, giving you like what up to a 12 to 14 hit, which on a given right situation, you should be able to stagger your opponent if you have those good equipment, for example, that increases your staggering rate. So which I think definitely helps. On the other hand, you can also use take advantage of that roll action, instantly get a replenishment of your funnel, and then continue to rampage on your enemy. I'll definitely do like if you want to have that extended combo, trying to do it within that time frame where it is still hitting your enemy. For example, within trying to get up to that 12 to 14 hits. If you are able to continue shooting using bazooka, whatever, I'm pretty sure by the time the roll action takes place and then replenish your self too, you should instantly get that up and running again. But I do have to say, in terms of firing up that final EXQ, it does take a little bit, right? It's not like something that instantaneously gets to your enemy and etc. It just takes a little bit, just a little bit to get off from the actual back part and then firing up to your enemy. But overall, definitely really satisfied. I think the only letdown, in my opinion, was just the fact that the heavy, just having that final punch, it's not really conducive for, let's say, airborne attacks. As I kind of show you guys in the combo section. As far as the bazooka, it's good for any enemy that does not, or just have, let's say, invalidate your beam attack. So having the bazooka definitely helps. But as far as let's say airborne combo, probably not. So that one's pretty much gonna be for ground purposes and all that. But overall, definitely really satisfied with the overall Hi Nu itself. You guys can definitely let me know what your experience with it. Was it really good? Was it really bad or easy for you guys to use? You guys can definitely let me know that in the comment section below. But with that said, I'll be catching you all on the next one.